a look at the perspective in this game from Vietnam's live feed. And so just to inform our viewers, there will be no in-game sound for this one.
So over here, SF5, there is certain to be on the blue side, definitely looking to bounce back in game number 4. Let's take note of picks and bans that have come true so far. Zac, Azure, as well as Sejuani being banned out by SF5. Jarvan, Janna, Morgana is the response from 269. 269 sticking with the utility bans, and for the side of SF5 banning out specifically targeted at Beyond, as well as their jungler.
Yeah, that's right. And Saigon Fantastic 5 gonna secure the Rek'Sai for them this time around. And some very interesting lock-ins coming in from Zotac 269. I think you mentioned at the start of the broadcast they are not afraid to innovate. Zotac 269 might be just looking for the new pick, the new card to bring into the deck today with that Gragas coming into the picks and bans this time around. Now my question is that gonna go into the top lane or into the jungle?
It should definitely be going to the jungle. Jungle Gragas is a pretty solid pick. The question is if support Gragas is an option as well. Now the thing here is that if you're Gragas in the current meta, you're able to reset the fights really well, and you get a lot of control with the explosive cast coming in. So if SF5 they're gonna be looking for the Rek'Sai 269, they might have the upper hand here with the Rek'Sai, with the Gragas pick available for themselves. The ganks from Gragas are pretty strong as well as compared to the other tank junglers that we are seeing in the form of Sejuani. You're able to go in there, get the body slam into the flash, follow it up with an ultimate. Can set up for some pretty strong fights. Yasuo is definitely an option here if 269 have the champion along in the champion pool. But it looks like SF5 they're going for more of a team fighting composition, going for the rumble for themselves.
Yeah, that's right. And securing the Thresh as well. Gonna deny that away from Cirque in that case, but we should be looking at Zotac 269 securing 2 more picks for themselves. As of course, this time around we're gonna have the Vietnamese live feed, so you can see the reactions of the players, look through for the players in their profiles as well. And I would kind of like it if they go for the Corki as well as Nautilus, because with the Thresh out of the equation, you still need something to sort of hard engage throughout as well.
I mean, they could have actually just swapped the Maokai into support position. We've seen that a little bit in the LCK itself. Swap the Maokai into support position, pick Arella, pick Rumble, pick a top laner that can consistently bully out Azizi, who hasn't really been having a very good series so far. I mean, he's been bullied out in games 1 and 3. Game number 2, he died to the Crux as well.
Yeah, so Azizi hasn't been having the best performance in the series, so we'll be looking at what he eventually does with this Rumble pick. And yeah, it does look like it's going to be that Corki as well as Nautilus. That should be the bottom lane setup. So Zotac 269 going to leave their mid lane cards the last. I believe that's a pretty smart decision. So Saigon Fantastic 5, like you mentioned, they need to pick up this win in order to stay alive in the competition. If not, it is going to be Zotac 269 moving forward to the grand finals that would happen tomorrow. And just a reminder to our viewers as well, there is going to be one more series after this one. That is going to be ISG Legends going up against the Bangkok Titans.
So SF5, they will be reverting to the Ahri in the mid lane. Previously 269 they banned against it after Optimus put on a very strong performance on it. SF5 going for the severe team fighting composition, just popping that ultimate and wanting to run into their faces. They will be swapping that up for a Cassiopeia instead in the mid lane, so lots of sustained damage coming through and lots of magic damage as well. Let's see what 269 will be able to do against that. The Azir hasn't been on else, that would have been a very strong pick in this case. Zerf still available, but against the Silver, not really sure if you want to be running that pick.
Alright, so we have the Cassiopeia coming in from Optimus. We'll see how that one's going to play out. And with that, they do secure a lot of damage over time. And if you look at it, they have the strong enabler in the form of that Silver right here in Zotac 269 for... Well, it does. Well, do we have King J actually playing mid lane this time around, or was it?
No, I think they just failed to line up properly in the
yeah,
lobby itself. So it's still going to be Beyond in the mid lane. He, as a player, I have to feel that his limited champion pool here is not sufficiently being targeted out by SF5 in this case. They banned Azir, that's fine, but they're leaving him still available to the Zeref over here. I had to feel the Cassiopeia does pretty well against Zeref, so they might be okay with this kind of scenario. But nonetheless, for 269 on a Zeref, I would prefer that if he could have shown to have a more diverse champion pool, maybe pick up a Karthus, perhaps even play LeBlanc in this kind of scenario. That would be fantastic. LeBlanc would just be so good in this because the Rumble is so immobile. The server, you can only special out some of the damage, but the rest of it is just gonna hit you like a truck.
Yeah, that's right. So, I'm still quite curious as to how this Gragas is gonna work out. I do know with the changes to the jungle, or rather with the inclusion of the Cinderhawk item, Jungle Gragas is actually quite strong with the following points that you mentioned earlier. Very strong ganks, and you'll be able to reset the fight very quickly. Question is, how is this one gonna play out for Zotac 269? We haven't seen him play this champion effectively.
In fact, we have a slight roster swap coming from SF5. Carrot will no longer be playing support for them. Uzi will be substituting for Carrot instead, so they have a 6-man roster working for them. It's not the same Uzi that we see in the LPL, but it's the Vietnamese one.
So we should be jumping to game very, very soon. As sometimes it's good to pop over to the Vietnam feed once in a while. You get to see the players, and I believe Zotac 269. Previously when we saw them on the camera, they were kind of a little bit nervous, but they should be feeling quite good this time around. After all, they are the ones on match point, so a little bit less pressure for these guys. And remember, guys, I think this is a good time that we bring up our point about the wager and win. This should be posted on ll.garena.com previously, and the wager and win contest. Go down to the link above, choose the team that you think will go all the way to win the finals. And if you win, you get a chance to, if you guess correctly, you'll get a chance to win the Warden Silver skin.
That's a pro tip. Vote for ISG Legends.
Yeah, and Garena shells as well. So plenty of prizes to be won. Go down to the link as shown right now. I believe it should be there for quite some time for you guys to actually log into the website and place your responses there. Remember, vote for the team that you think is going to win all the way.
ISG Legends will be my choice for that one, but nonetheless, just going through the team compositions once again. So you'll be King J in the top lane, playing the Maokai, Heaven with the Gragas in the jungle. So this is kind of a throwback to the Janna Zeref compositions that we will see at the start of the season. Really strong compositions. If you didn't really have the tools to get the hard engage on, it's going to be a little bit problematic. So in this case, there's going to be a lot of onus onto the Gragas to land a good explosive cast to be able to reset the fight so that Zeref can continue to poke down onto the opponents here. And once again, he went for the Ghost Summoner spell, which I have to feel, just get the heal instead. The Ghost is, you're not going to be kiting much as Zeref. Just throw out the spells, get the rotations in, survive the opponent's onslaught onto you, get out of trouble, and then continue to rain damage onto your opponents.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it actually works out, because in game number 2, it wasn't the best summoner choice, and it in fact cost Zotac 269 that particular game. And I was just informed as well that the link will close just before the finals start tomorrow evening. So do remember to cast your votes if you want to stand a chance to win the Warden Silver Skin as well as Garena shells. And we'll be waiting for the players to start the games over here. I believe that should be on the live server itself. So gotta have that spectator delay come into play as well. Zotac 269 definitely coming a long way from the start of the competition, coming in as the underdogs, and now moving into the semi-finals. We'll have a chance to move into the grand finals, and I mean, if they do, then it's gonna be a huge breakthrough story for these guys. From rookies all the way to the grand finals, a huge breakthrough in their first split of the Garena Premier League.
It seems like we have a little bit of a downtime over here. Oh, once again, we're back to the casters. If you caught us by surprise, that you got me. But with that, actually, there's no intro video, so hopefully we will be able to move into game soon.
Yeah.
And let's find out what these teams will be brewing for each other, and if there will be a lane swap.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that has been pretty prevalent so far in the series. A lot of lane swaps coming into play. Both teams, for one reason or another, does not want the standard lane mashup over here. So we'll see if that happens in game number 4 as well. And I mean, in your opinions, right? Who do you think is gonna go all the way to be the grand champions?
For the third time, Insidious Gaming Legends.
All right, a lot of
the
faith.
nationalistic pride is there for me.
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't mind, or rather, I don't mind any of the teams being the champion in this case. But I just want to see, the best performance being brought out by all these guys over here. So I'm going to be looking forward towards the second half of the day as well, where we are going to have ISG Legends taking on Bangkok Titans. But before that, let's see how this series is going to conclude between Zotac 269 against Saigon Fantastic 5. Of course, SF5 going to start things off on the blue side as Zotac 269 on the red. And, you know, I think you have a theory that Zotac 269 somehow always seems to win on the blue side.
It's not a theory, it's just how the stats have been showing us. And they really do well on the blue side because they're able to secure the first pick for themselves and just have the very strong drafting style in their favor. And it kind of favors the way they like to innovate the top lane. And it helps them because usually when you're on the red side, if you have a wide champion pool in the mid lane on the red side, it benefits you. Whereas 269, beyond it, he's shown to be a rather limited player in terms of the mid lane. So on the blue side, that kind of mitigates that because anyway your opponent will be able to counter pick the mid lane matchup. And they're just going to pick the Seraph, pick the Azir, pick whatever that he wants to play in the mid lane for himself early on.
Alright, and we'll see if it's going to help him out a little bit as we might finally start to see the standard lane matchup come into place. And King J kind of missed out a opportunity to clear out the camps and going to take a big chunk of damage from Azizi from the Flame Spitter, of course, but quickly negated away by the passive here. So standard lane matchups. King J finally will go up against Azizi in this case. So in the direct matchup itself, which do you think is going to be the biggest highlight between these two teams?
In terms of lanes, I do believe you have to keep an eye on the mid lane at the moment. It's going to be up to Optimus how well can he play this Cassiopeia. It hasn't really been the type of champions that he has been playing all this season, and he hasn't really been able to perform. I thought that we would be seeing a repeat performance of the RW get those flash into cashes into his opponents, but flash into the ultimate, flash into the petrifying gates is also a way that they can start the fight for themselves. Hook goes in onto Celebrity.
Yeah, he's going to get him in, getting the flay down as well, and the Ignite's going to get popped onto Celebrity, so going to force him away from the lane for now, and maybe the swap over to Uzi is something that SF5 really needs in order to keep themselves in the competition.
So this is the first game that we've had this entire series where both teams, where neither team did not go for a lane swap. Games 1 and 2, SF5 were the ones to initiate the lane swap. Game 3, it was 269 who initiated a lane swap, and I have to feel that 269 that lane swap tactics aren't really up to par so far. But now that they are in default lanes, we have to see how these things will be working out. And already we see lots of pressure being exerted into the bottom lane. Minus taking a very nice CS lead over his opponent after blowing some summoners and forcing the Corki low.
That's right, and Heaven now making his way up into the top lane as King J is going to try to go for the lockdown. Where's the Twister advance? And looks like
he's out of mana.
Yeah, a little bit on a different page for these two guys, but at least Heaven would be able to put on a decent amount of pressure into the top lane and force Azizi to be a bit more defensive for now. As down the bottom lane, Cirque as well as Celebrity gonna try to catch back up in terms of the CS right here. It's almost a 10 CS lead for Miners at this point.
You know, actually one thing that you can do, Nautilus, speaking of what, flashes in!
That's right, Optimus gonna cleanse out the crowd controller, gonna flash out as well. Heaven just making his point count over here with his active movement so far.
I like the way 269 they set up the lanes. It makes it a lot easier for Heaven to gank. Rumble against Maokai in the top lane. Rumble tends to win out if it's a more skillful player, but speaking of that, gank in the mid lane.
That's right, Bjorn has to blow his own flash this time around, shocking up onto Jinky. And here comes King J. The double teleports coming into play here for both the top laners. Beyond's going to come back around, going to try to turn around. That's first blood going over to Azizi. And now King J finds himself in so much trouble. Going to try to turn things around onto Optimus. The sapling, is he going to chase down onto Optimus? No! Does not have enough damage to kill him off. And in the bottom lane as well, we did see Miners pick up the kill onto Celebrity here. A great start for Saigon Fantastic 5 with that 2,000 goal lead.
Things just falling apart for the Zotac 269 squad. I mean, they went in there, they had some good ganks with Heaven on the Gragas, but the teleport was just so unnecessary. Beyond went into already, he knew that the Twisted Evans would not be able to get it, but here we go. It is the aggression coming in the bottom side. Heaven comes in for the gank, Gets the triple gang down. Uzi, they aren't able to finish him off. They
Oh,
try to go
wow.
for the dive. Celebrity ends up following this one. Gets the right click onto the wrong target as well. Shoots minus instead of getting the last hit down. And he's the one who ends up falling.
Yeah, pretty big misplay coming through. Uzi gonna move to the mid lane here. It's a shocking up to the face, and that's gonna call off the roaming support aggression for now. And yeah, Saigon Fantastic 5, we have a pretty good start to this game. And if you look at it, the best thing about it is that all the kills has been spread out on the side of a Saigon Fantastic 5. Azizi, Jinky as well as Minus, each getting 1 kill for themselves. And in the mid lane as well, Optimus.
The
getting the
equalizer
tails
drops down onto King. It's dropped really low right now. I mean, the Maokai with the auto attacks will be able to sustain it, but with the lead going in the favor of Rumble when he has a level lead, Rumble would definitely be able to exert his presence in this top lane matchup. And usually this is when you start to call your jungler to gank for you. They know that he doesn't have the flash available, and I think that's exactly what Heaven has planned.
Oh.
Celebrity rather low right now.
Yeah, that's right. And Minus does take a huge chunk of return damage from Cirque in that scenario. So it's all about who lands the skill shot first now.
Up in the top lane here. This is what we were talking about, but it looks like they do spot the Gragas. He goes in a little bit early. The support from the Gragas isn't there just yet, but here comes Heaven. Jinky around from the side.
That's right, Jinky is going to get the kill down onto King J, and now Heaven is in so much trouble. Does not have the ultimate to displace Jinky as well as Azizi. That makes it a double kill now for Jinky, and a 5-0 start now for Saigon Fantastic 5.
SF5 responding in force in the game, just simply butchering 269 this early game. Already 3,500 goal hit.
Yeah, that's right, a pretty decent start for these guys, and much needed as well if they want to bring this all the way to game number 5 over here. As Azizi as well as Jinky definitely making their presence count on the map, and Jinky 3 kills in succession, already completing that Stalker's Blade that's helping out so much. And surprisingly enough, we do see Heaven going for that Stalker's Blade as well, so he's focusing more towards ganking than to clear out the camps.
And now Minus says Uzi, they have a huge way shoving down here in the bottom. Says Celebrity gets well served. They're just struggling so much in the lane itself. He only has a long sword, whereas Minus has the BF already completed. It's really by far double the CS of his opponent's AD carry right now.
Yeah, so looking at this current scenario that Zotac 269 is playing into, it just kind of makes me wonder, where was this SF5 in the first 3 matches of the series? This SF5 looks much more polished, much more confident in their gameplay, and much more decisive in their shot calling. Haven't been able to see that in the first 3 games. Uzi now taking a bit of damage from the Dredge line follow-up, of course, so he is forced to be on the defensive for now, but at least for him, if anything was to go south, Jinky was just right around the corner to back him up.
So SF5, they know that they have the advantage in the bottom, then they aren't afraid to press it, and there we go. Radyake comes in, he gets the snipe!
Yeah, Beyond does get the consolation prize, but that's going to be the Dragon going over to Saigon Fantastic 5 for the death of their teammate. Of course, Uzi is going to come back around, so at least getting the global objective for themselves. Saigon Fantastic 5 still at a 3,000 odd goal lead.
I mean, just looking at the laning strengths of 269, you have to wonder why were SF5 repeatedly going for those lane subs, considering that now the moment that they play default lanes, the bot lane is winning, the top lane is winning. Just don't try for any of those funny shenanigans and just play straight up with your opponents.
Yeah, maybe that was what they realized after the end of Game 3. Say, you know what, we're just going to go for standard lanes. We should be able to, come ahead in terms of our individual mechanics itself, and that is what is exactly going on right now. Azizi pushing forward into the top lane, might find himself tunnel indoor. Heaven's going to come back around, going to get the slowdown onto Azizi as well, knocking him up. And the flash now already blown for Azizi. No follow-up from Heaven at the end of it all, and he's going to leave to tell the tale at the end of this 1v2 engage.
They know that Jinky is around and they just don't do anything about it. So 269, I have to feel that they had a poor start to the game, and now they're just running scared against what SF5 is just bringing to them. I mean, that one just dropped the ultimate, knock him into the tower range, and then burst him down. But they were just so afraid of Jinky appearing from the sidelines, they couldn't decisively do it, and they just settled for a flash from what could have been a kill on top of blowing the flash.
Yeah, and In fact, if you look at this game right now, Saigon Fantastic 5 is playing a much more active role in terms of the roaming game itself. It's been Uzi also making a move, and now up in the top lane, King J finds himself in the end of a 2v1 situation. Jinky is going to force the flash away from King J. And we even have Uzi moving up into the top lane as well. That's how much he has been moving around the map.
There's a party in the top lane right now. Sir has joined the party as well, but in the bottom lane, Optimus goes in a little bit more. The celebrity gets a kill. One last turret shot. He falls as well.
Yeah, that's right. It's a 1-for-1 exchange. I don't think that was quite worth it for Optimus in that case, but at least he's going to release some of the pressure that Minus was facing up to. He is sitting at a 30 CS lead, and Jinky is going to move around to the mid lane to pick up the farm that Optimus is missing out on, and Azizi is going to push down the top lane turret. So everything just kind of falling into place for Saigon Fantastic 5 now at this point, except for the fact that Optimus kind of just went down into that 1-for-1 exchange, and now Azizi is going to chase down to beyond. A flash death sentence brings him in, and that final proc onto that target space is going to keep Azizi alive as well. Where was Uzi in the past 3 games? You have to wonder.
Sitting on the bench, and there you go. It's your answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, come on, coach, let me in. I need to carry this guys, man, and indeed he is doing that right now.
Rather impressive on the trash play so far, landing the hooks to win the matchup in the bottom lane, and then making a greater presence around the map. So far on this Nautilus, we've seen them usually be the ones to grab initiative, just move up, shove out the wave with the E, and then get some roamers down, get some wards down. But it is Uzi who has been the one to just be more proactive.
Yeah, that's right. And the one thing that I really like about Saigon Fantastic 5's map movement as well is that whenever they try to make a play at one point of the map, they make sure that the other members are, covering up the lanes, making sure that they all get some kind of farm off of that as well.
I mean, at this point, King J is just basically free food for ZZ. Just look at it. There's no way he can deal with this rumble overheat comes on, but looks like he'll back away, knowing that there's backup for it.
Yeah, that's right. And he does not quite have the equalizer to secure the kill there, but you can start to see that that prowess coming into place for Rumble right now, finishing up the needless Delatron on top of their haunting guys, just chunking King J down with 1 or 2 spell rotations in place.
It's a blue buff steal as well coming in from SF5. Now this is where they're very comfortable in their element. They just go in there, invade the opponent's side of the jungle, get the wards in, and then steal away the buffs.
So I'm going to test your Vietnamese right there. What was the graph about?
Oh,
100%, 71.4.
Number of games played so far this season on this champion, and the win rate.
Okay. Yeah, so we have J-Storm, who is our local Vietnamese correspondent, who knows about the what's going on with the Vietnamese infographics,
Some really cool infographics coming in from them, but Minus just getting some pressure in onto the turret. No interesting interaction with the Boomerang Blade and the Lantern over there.
Yeah, that's right. And Saigon Fantastic 5 looks to push forward. As we did see the explosive cast come through from heaven just to push Uzi away. Right now, I think they are just moving towards the dragon, looking to secure the second one for themselves as well. Gonna come back in about 40 seconds or so.
Oh, that's Sun onto Optimus. Fairly decent damage being dealt in onto him.
That's right, right smack in the eye as well. So 30 seconds till Dragon comes back around. ZZ does not have the teleport, but King J does. So that's something that Saigon Fantastic 5 needs to watch out for if they try to take the Dragon for themselves.
Gonna be a little bit of a slow game right now. SF5 just waiting for the Dragon to spawn before any major action happens. They know that they have control of this area. They've successfully chased the Vision and the members of 269 out, but they're gonna be going for broke in the mid lane. Hook does not land.
Yeah, that's right. And we saw some mad furious pings down into the mid lane, trying to make a play before moving into the Dragon Pit itself. But looks like they didn't quite get the initiation down onto Beyond in that case. But nevertheless, they still have the positional advantage, and they will, in fact, go for the Dragon right now. We do see Optimus coming in. A huge Stone Gaze actually going to lock down both Cirque as well as Celebrity right off the Arcane coming in onto the back ends over here. King J coming in with the Vengeful Maelstrom, but taking so many damage in the meantime. Jinky still staying alive for now, but with only 1 slip of HP, going to get taken down by the Arcano Pulse beyond, just off of the side, left untouched in the entire fight. And there is going to be that one ward there as well to try to spot out the rest of the positioning. Azizi kind of come in here. Optimus still trying to follow up with the poison damage. Not quite enough to bring down Beyond. And now Celebrity is the one in a whole lot of trouble. And that's going to bring that down to a 2-for-1 exchange, I believe. And the rest of Saigon Fantastic 5 is going to be able to capitalize and finally take the second dragon for themselves.
Lots of action happening around the Dragon Pit. 269. At first it was a 2-for-2. They got a little bit greedy. They stayed around too long. And they knew that the Crocky was out of mana. Xerath only had a few spells left in his arsenal. They continued to fight the fight. And as a result, SF5 put the trigger, flash forward with the Electro Harpoon. Were able to get a good engage down. They pick up the Dragon, and now the boss flame turret as well.
That's right now. 6,000 goal lead for this guys. For Saigon Fantastic 5. A very different pace that we are seeing from games 1 to 3 as well. Not so much so, that mid-game power spike, but just solidifying those early, movements as well as the early kills right here to give them this advantage. So Saigon Fantastic 5 definitely having a one-up performance from the previous ones.
The Xerath 4269 is still in the game, however, with 3 kills, a needlessly large rod, and a Morello Nomicon. He will be able to rain down a fresh chunk of magic damage, and until Rek'Sai is able to complete the lockout of the Iron Solari. Oh, they catch out Optimus over here, but
wow.
Nautilus is unable to get the follow-up, but there's another skirmish over there at the side.
Oh, that's right. We might see Jinky getting called out for a little bit. And here comes the equalizer. Everyone flashing away from the area right here. Does not want to engage in that fight whatsoever. So Saigon Fantastic 5 is going to force Zotac 269 away from the mid lane turret for now. Minus takes a big chunk of damage, but the turret is definitely going to fall, and Saigon Fantastic 5 secures yet another objective for themselves.
So just moving around the map at the blitz pace, just taking all the objectives and bullying out 269. All these little skirmishes. There we go. Round the Arcane does survive and flashes away.
Wow, he is down to 30 HP at the end of that one. Saigon Fantastic 5. Wow, what a huge change for this guys. And like you mentioned, just moving around the map at a rapid fire rate. I think this is the SF5 that I'm more used to seeing. Just forcing people off objectives, take the objectives, and then just moving out of there. Not necessarily going and committing to a particular kill, but as long as they get the objective, they'll be happy and then they'll back off.
They found a lot of success when they used to have jungle OG on the roster with such methods. Just moving very aggressively. They played the Ethan, they played the Lee Sin, played the skirmishes, moving aggressively, bully out the opponent's jungler, and just take control of the map from there. And now that they have the Rek'Sai against the Gragas matchup, it's rather similar elements that they're very comfortable playing with as well.
Yeah, that's right. And just solidifying their lead right here. Almost a 7,000 goal lead for this guys. Zotac 269 though in a much more difficult position than the previous games that they have played at match point here, but they're playing like the ones who are just losing out in the entire series so far, and just very curious as to see how this Gragas pick has been intended to play out for them.
I think they're just waiting for the major ultimates to come out once again. Now they are all available. Equalizer available for themselves as well. SF5. A big fight might break out any moment. Baron will be spawning in 20 seconds, but doubt they will be going for the objective. Dragon will be the next area of contention, I believe.
Yeah, that might be the case, as rest of Saigon Fantastic 5 not looking to group up as of yet. So very vastly different game styles that you can see from both teams. When Zotac 269 is in the lead, they tend to group up a lot, but SF5 just more contented towards, maximizing the farm here, and then only going for the team fights when it's challenging around the major objectives. As Arbin and Toblin, we did see Azizi pop the equalizer down to King J, forcing him back away for now. As Heaven does spot out Jinky at his own side of the jungle.
So that's going to be a small win for them as they're able to secure the buff back for themselves. But SF5, they're just wisely creating this split push chicken. They know that no one can handle Optimus, and they just set him to this bottom lane. And just look at 269 struggle to do with him. The moment the Zeraf leaves the mid lane, he's just going to be struggling to find his element of confidence. Here comes Jinky, they find the Gragas.
That's right, they find the Gragas, gets him knocked out into the air, but he's going to be able to body slam his way out of trouble. And right now we're seeing this 1-3-1 situation being played out for Saigon Fantastic 5 once again. And finally we see the grouping up happen for Saigon Fantastic 5. And Azizi still up in the top lane, zoning out King J for the most parts. Just pulling him away from the lane for now.
I mean, this is just deforestation in action at the moment. In the top lane, the Super Galaxy Rumble skin just does so much damage. Not the skin, I mean the champion with all the items does so much damage. Minus in a bit of trouble.
That's right, he's going to get pushed in as well. A great explosive cast is going to bring the AD carry right into range for the rest to follow up onto. And now Heaven's going to chase down onto Jinky. He's going to get knocked up into the air. And now the equalizer coming in on the back end here. Azizi picks up the kill onto Sir King JJ. King J is going to come in on the back end here. Celebrity is going to be the next target over here, but Jinky is going to turn around and instead secure the kill onto his top lane counterpart.
269 just way too greedy in this scenario, and now Beyond gets caught as well.
That's right, he's definitely going to go down. Optimus is the one to secure the kill. So without the AD carry, 4 members alive, will they be able to take down the mid lane inhibitor? We'll see about that one. Death timers are still relatively low. Heaven's going to come back around, making it a 3 versus 5 situation. Saigon Fantastic 5 recognizes that. They decide not to overpush the advantage. Instead, will be contented with just the inhibitor turret alone.
11,000 gold at the 21-minute mark. That is a ridiculous lead that the SF5 squad has. The next Dragon has respawned. I thought that this might be the next area of contention, but 269, they got a little bit too frisky, and they ended up getting picked off despite having a 1-0 earlier. So this is what happened around the turret. They come in, they find a good dash line onto Minus, gets locked down. The spell shouldn't be able to do too much. Heaven comes in, fantastic output, splits up the entire team. And this is where they get 2 overzealous. Heaven completely out of mana radius to this point. He just does nothing. And as a Gragas, you aren't really all the tanky either. Surf drops in the back line. Equalizer at this point just does so much damage. And still, the rest of the team continues to chase into the opponent team instead of peeling away for the Cocky and the Zerf. And because of that, SF5, they have the better shot calling. They get 1, they get 2, and then just look at this dive in. Flash, Flay, and 3 members onto him. 4 members coming. Jinky with the smite as well for the assist goal.
Yeah, that's right. The Equalizer playing such a huge role for Saigon Fantastic 5 in that mix. When it splits up the team into 2. And again, you know, Zotac 269 kind of, you can find that they're flustering over here with Beyond kind of sticking around at the mid lane turret when he wasn't supposed to be there. And of course, great play from Uzi from enabling that pick to happen. So right now, Saigon Fantastic 5 is sitting at an 11,000 gold lead, like you mentioned, a 9 kill advantage, 3 Dragon advantage, and 5 turret. This is very reminiscent of game number 1 when it was Zotac 269 that was in such a huge lead, but it has swung around. Saigon Fantastic 5 is the team now to, in fact, have this sort of performances.
So just a huge change in terms of momentum. Like they're just taking turns to win out these middle stages of the game, and most of the time, by the time we are at the 20 minutes mark in the past 4 games, one team has at least been able to accrue a 7,000, 8,000 goal lead for themselves.
That's right. Saigon Fantastic 5. Jinky gonna use the Void Rush to come into the Baron pit
Scumbag
right here.
is easy.
Yeah, that's right. You know, it's just kind of.
There we go.
There we go. Now Equalizer's gonna come back around. Beyond's gonna try to flash out of there, but just gets melted down by Azizi with the Flame Spitter right there, getting the picks happening here, making it a 4v5. 30 seconds till the death timer is gonna come back around. So I think SF5 is just gonna march straight down into the mid lane and open up the base for themselves.
That is going to be an open inhibitor and the first step to victory for SF5. They got in there, they have secured the lead for themselves, and they just aren't afraid to use it. After taking down the member with most of the goal on the side of 269, without the Zerf, there's just no way they can take any of these fights.
Yeah, that's right. A rare miss from Uzi in that case onto the death sentence, but does it not matter quite too much because SF5 has their eyes set onto the inhibitor right there. We'll take the mid one down, and that lane is going to naturally push itself now as Saigon Fantastic 5 is going to regroup once again, perhaps moving towards the top lane in this case, with a ZZ split pushing down at the bottom side.
So 269. They're just splitting 4 on 1 at the moment, 1-3-1 with the Rek'Sai, clearing some jungle camps as well. The ripoff does go with the celebrity, so once again, they have managed to secure this small objective for themselves, but the bigger objective right now, the Baron, would they be able to contest this one? Teleport in from the Rumble will give him a very good angle of approach. Oh, never mind, he's not going to be teleporting from the back, just coming in and joining up with the rest of the team. They're going to be going for a pick once again.
Let's look at King J right now. He does have his own teleport up as well. Here we go now, the enabling play. The On the Hunt comes around. We did see how Cirque fell, but it was so quick in that execution. Saigon Fantastic 5 makes it a 4-for-5 situation right here. SF5 should be able to take this Baron for themselves, and we don't see any sort of struggle whatsoever from 269. They know for a fact that they are gonna be unable to challenge for that one, so they are gonna just give that over to Saigon Fantastic 5, and it feels like 269 right now is just gonna play the game out and move on to the final game of the series.
I mean, right now they're probably thinking about, okay, we're on game 5 right now. We're gonna have our favorite blue side once again. Let's see what we will be able to do with that one. King J duels out with Jinky and the bottom side. Now this Rek'Sai is just so fat at the moment with the Baron buff as well. King J just dropped to half health without being able to respond much at all.
And that's the jungler going up against the top laner. Usually in this situation, you would guess that the jungler is kind of, maybe not as enhanced in terms of the items and because of the limited gold that you can get. But that's not quite the case right here. 5-1-7 on this Rek'Sai versus the 0-4-2 on King J. A much bigger differential. And Jinky right now might just find himself in a pretty awkward situation, kind of over diving down the bottom lane, but actually, enabling the rest of the team to come into this one and then picking up the turret for themselves. So once again, securing another objective. This might be a clean objective game here for Saigon Fantastic 5 if they manage to end the game without any turrets being taken and any dragons taken away from them as well.
They do get a hook on to Heaven. The Flay doesn't follow up. So 269 once again, they keep all 5 members in place. But this is going to be a very hard siege to hold.
ZZ is going to push down the top lane turret as well. Does have the Baron buff. So the minion wave is going to be slightly stronger, powering up the push for themselves. As ZZ is going to take this one down for Saigon Fantastic 5 and going to continue pushing forward as well. Right of the Arcane coming down onto the top lane. Here comes the depth charge onto Uzi, but no follow-up whatsoever. Where is ZZ coming from? No, not going to follow up. He's still in the top lane though. But Minus is going to pick up 1 kill. Optimus picks up the second onto King J. 4 versus 5, and they weren't able to defend this push against SF5. So I think off of this one, they will lose 2 turrets simultaneously and making it a full tutorial mode with, all 3 lanes going down, their inhibitors going down.
So that is all 3 inhibitors that will be going down. The top inhibitor is still in place. Is ZZ not choosing to finish the one off.
Okay.
Just backing off with the rest of the team. They're just going to be picking up Dragon number 4 for themselves. Going back to base, picking up whatever one last round of items and finishing whatever formalities that they need to do before they end out the game.
That's why 28 minimum, a fantastic performance. This is what puts the Fantastic in Saigon Fantastic 5s. Whenever they have games like this, it looks so much cleaner. It looks so much more, well executed, so much more well planned, and it raises a lot of doubts about what happened in games 1 to 3, and eventually what's going to happen in the deciding game number 5. Because on one hand, you're going to have Zotac 269 play their favorite side of the map again, but on the other hand, you're not losing by a marginal difference. This is a huge difference that you're playing against now.
It gets the flame, and here comes the engagement from the sidelines. Equalizer has been dropped already. The Drash Line takes the Nautilus out of there, but the focus will be the Maokai. King J will fall to this one. Cassiopeia picks up the kill. Minus gets the steal in at the last bit. And now, this is the final push. 2 members down, 5 on 3. The power play is in place. Inhibitor will go down, and after that, the Nexus will follow.
So Optimus is going to chase off Cirque for now. Mid lane inhibitor is going to fall as well. And no more Baron buff for these guys, but they do have all the advantages that they need to close off the game. First Nexus turret is going to fall. Second one's going to be sure to follow, minus just throwing that boomerang down. Beyond trying his best to wave clear as much as possible, but that is definitely going to be it with the numbers advantage over here. SF5 is going to make this into a 5-game series.
So we are going to have a game number 5 for ourselves. SF5 have been in, this is the third best of 5 already, and with all the experience coming for themselves after tying up this series 2-2. They were the only team in the entire GPL history to come back from an 0-2 deficit to win 3-2, and that was against the Taipei Snipers when they were trying to qualify for the World Championships. And now here they are. They were down a game. They were 2-2. They were down 1-2 against 269. They tied things up 2-2. I think that they have the mettle to take game number 5.
Well, we'll see how this one plays out, and this is a pretty interesting series, going all the way, and we'll have game number 5 to decide this one for us, and we'll see how that one plays out right after this